Hey guys, welcome to Indie Game Hustle. My name is Charles, and in this video, part of the platformer game series here, we're going to take a quick look at how to maybe approach organizing yourself, right? So, we're going to be working with all types of different models and textures, materials, and characters, and maybe even some additional scripts as possible. But whatever it is that we're going to add, sometimes you want to maybe create some folders to kind of make sense of everything. So when you're going in and out, you want to make sure that you have that. So I typically approach it this way. So right now is if you look in the project folder here in assets, and here you're going to see all our different assets that we installed, here. So, and I typically don't move these. I'm going to leave these here. But for any additional things that I add from at this point, I'm going to create a folder. So I'm going to make a project folder. So I'm going to right click, create folder, and I'm just going to do an underscore project robot boy. And the reason I put the underscore is really so I can keep it at the top, so it's easy to find. I know exactly where it's at. Now, of course, you can take your folder, click and drag it over here in this area where it's called favorites, so you can get to whatever's in that folder much quicker than going maybe through this. But nonetheless, I kind of jump between the two. It just really depends what you need, but you can definitely do that. The next thing I'll probably think about is, let's see here. We're probably going to have some levels, so I'm going to create a folder for maybe the world, right? And inside this folder, the world is going to consist of what? So we're going to consist of maybe some menus, and we're probably going to consist of, let's see what else we have. Some levels. So maybe some levels. That'll probably be, you know, what we're going to have. So the menu, maybe the scene, the main game scene is going to go in here, and then everything else, maybe like the intro and level 1, 2, and 3 or something like that is going to go in here. And we can do it that way. So far in our project Robot Boy, we have a world folder. Another folder that you can do is something called scripts. And of course, you already have a folder called scripts. I never can pronounce that word right, scripts, here, but I typically don't want to use that. I kind of let this be reserved for things that you install, and it kind of creates its own folder, and I don't mess with these. So for these are going to be things like if I go to the Game Creator Hub and I download an additional, like an action or a new trigger script or something, I might put that in here. Okay. And so that's where I would put that. Something else I can do, we can do prefabs, right? So we're probably going to create some models and some things. So I'm going to do prefabs here, and we'll have quite a few of those, I'd imagine. Not really sure what we're going to have just yet, but we'll definitely have some of those. And then inside of prefabs, obviously you would think of something like characters, right? So we want to have characters. So I'll just do characters. And inside of characters, we might want to do good characters. Yeah, good characters. And then maybe you have some bad characters, right? The enemies. So we can just call them bad, or we can call them enemies. It's really up to you. And instead of good, we can call it hero, that sort of thing. Because in this case, we only have really one character. So we have enemies, we'll just plural enemies, and then hero, right? And so when you go in here, once we have a couple of enemies, we'll put those in here. And then, of course, our main character is going to be here, right? All right. So far, let's see what we got. We got prefab, scripts, world. Something I like to have is animations. Well, let me say first 3D assets. And I do this, honestly, because I go to the asset store and I download like some pack, like a low poly, like art pack, or, trees and rocks and that sort of thing, because I don't feel like modeling all that stuff, right? So I download this pack, and it's going to download directly to the asset folder, and that's okay. You can leave that there. But I try to keep this kind of small, right? So I take that, once I download it, I save it or move it to this folder, and then we'll put it inside the 3D asset. So eventually this will be full of just 3D assets that contain things that you're going to be using maybe to build your world out, that sort of thing. Now, of course, when we download our character for like the robot boy, that asset is going to be a 3D asset, and I will move it there. But because I'm creating a specific prefab for our character, I'm going to move that inside of here. Okay, so you'll get used to it, but hopefully it makes sense. The next folder I'll create is animations, right? So animations. So if you are getting your animations from online, like Mixamo, and you want to have a place to store those, you would say, animations, and you put those animations here. But because you may also get some animations from the asset store, and those come in its own folder, I would recommend going create folder, and you can just say Mixamo. And so then you put your Mixamo animations in here, and you can go even further and like organize those. But just to be on the basics, you can just store those here, and we'll get to that once we get into dealing with like setting up our character for all types of different things, right? And so you get that point there. Same thing with sounds, right? So eventually we'll have some music, so we can do audio or sound. It depends on how you want to word it, but basically things that you can hear. And then maybe effects. Maybe we can have some effects, stuff like that. I haven't really played with that stuff yet, but maybe that's where it would go. But the goal here is to understand where you're going to be storing things and thinking about where they're going to be. So when you're kind of working on your project, you're not necessarily trying to figure out what that's going to be, while you're going. Like, you want to stay organized throughout the whole thing so you can keep moving forward, so you can keep going, right? And so that's really what this video is all about, just kind of getting a sense of what your file management will kind of start to look like. You can do it however you want. Don't let me tell you specifically like you have to do it this way. This is just how I'm approaching it. This is probably going to change a little bit here and there based on what I notice and what I may need, but you're just kind of starting to set up some type of organization to it, so where when you download those animations, where are they going to go, immediately. Don't just drop them in this folder and then you start looking and then you don't know where everything's at. You want to kind of know right off the bat where your stuff is, right? So anyway, that's all I got for this video. I just want to keep each video, moving, and keep every video as short as possible, so you know exactly what you need to do in the video, so that we can come to a conclusion, so that we can actually make a finished thing, right? So anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. For the next set of videos, I'll be releasing one every day at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So to stay up to date on the latest 3D platforming tutorial, feel free to subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to support, you can find me on Patreon, or of course you can hit me up on Discord. I like to talk about whatever project you guys are working on. Of course, thanks for hanging with me. Your support is always appreciated. As always, remember, never give up and keep moving forward. Peace.